passion, pride, success. These are just some of the values that have been instilled in the heart of Melbourne Victory for 2 decades. They encapsulate the essence of what we want to achieve together as a club. This is our club, our Melbourne Victory.
Professional sport is a very difficult business. There are moments of ecstasy and ages of despair.
In those early days, we get going and we start around March, I think was the first training session. They did a warm-up and we played a 5-on-5 game where Ernie played, I played, Aaron Healy, the assistant coach, played. A couple of the guys had stress fractures and groin fractures. So our first day at training, we had at least one potential fan come and watch, but there was like 8 or 9 people. So we saw it on day one, roll the clock forward to, you know, the following year when we ran out on Olympic Park. And it was just full.
Shot, it's found the target, the Victory in front, and Richard Kitzbichler has delivered.
It was absolutely incredible. The tingle in the neck. The fans were sensational. We couldn't have dreamed that we could create this new thing and people would get on board the way they did.
The game against Sydney FC, one of our biggest rivals, we won 5-0, and you know they were like the glamour club because they had all these superstars, and we just wiped them off the pitch. 5-0, it was just incredible. And then after that, it really went downhill.
What a victory for Adelaide United with 10 men.
We finished bottom in that first season, 2006, but we had so many wins in terms of, you know, selling out the old Olympic Park and on a number of occasions, and you know the atmosphere that was created here in Melbourne. We really set the standard for the rest of the competition in terms of what it was like to put on an event, because ultimately we are in the entertainment business, and our fans, you know, they've got to take a lot of credit for all the success stories there has been throughout, because they really set the standards. And those early days, selling out, you know, seeing the house full sign go up at the old Olympic Park, you couldn't imagine, you know, no one really imagined that was going to occur.
He was up against it, Archie Thompson, Michael Beecham, big and strong. Well, is that the killer blow?
Disappointment around Olympic Park. It has finished here at Olympic Park. The Melbourne Victory 0, the Central Coast Mariners 2.
That first year was definitely a learning curve and learning experience. Like, I don't think we had a really experienced change room that can maybe deal with like the losses that we were copying, and then, you know, because it's easy to turn on each other when those sort of things happen.
We finished bottom, but the actual club, you know, gained momentum and got so much stronger. And the second year was a big reward for everybody, as I said, that took that leap of faith, but for our wonderful fans as well.
The change room became a lot stronger. The culture of our club started to develop into what I think what they envisioned, and now I can start to see what was going on. Getting the right foundations and the right people in the right place, not just on the football pitch, but throughout the club. That's why I think that second year was just so successful.
We went from the bottom of the table to the penthouse, so it was a really it was reward, I think, for the people that took the leap of faith in the football club and stood by the football club in that first year.
This is the chance, Fred through, Archie Thompson, goal! Ball's over the line.
A new record crowd. They were jammed in all over the place, and the atmosphere was incredible. It was stinking hot. They closed half the roof to try and keep the sun out. Archie scores a hat-trick in the first half, and we were walking off together. I don't know if you remember this, and I was worried like he's gonna shut up shop now. We're gonna lose him. I said, Archie, no, you're not. There's plenty more goals out there. He said, yeah, I know.
This could be a fourth for Archie Thompson. That's it, surely, for Melbourne. They're singing in the rain at the Dome. There's Thompson. Well, the ball is just glued to his boots.
Knocked a couple more in, and just bedlam, madness, delirium, delight, any adjective you like.
I think we just couldn't stop laughing because we didn't really expect that something like that would ever happen, and everybody knows there's not a lot of goals in football, so to see that I think laughed. We just couldn't believe it. It was an unbelievable feeling, and I don't think anyone's ever going to do something like that again.
Just everything fell into place. Like I said, I was just in the right place at the right time. Our team was amazing. I thought Fred was just incredible, and he probably deserved the Joe Marsden more than what I did, but yeah, something that I'll always look back on fondly. And people still to this day would stop me and go, I was there in that 2006-7 grand final. It was just insane.
And in Christian Sarki's fantastic talent, who could never score to save himself, scores an amazing free kick, and we win 6-0. And the joint just went off, and everyone, we just celebrated and celebrated. What a remarkable time.
Melbourne Victory are the champions of Australia.
2015, that's my best memory, because I actually got to feel what it meant to the staff in the office, in the background, the match day staff, and only then as well you get to feel what it really means to the supporters and our wonderful fans, and then I was supported by the chairman at the time, Mr. Di Pietro, and his board. There was nothing more that I wanted to deliver another championship for everybody involved.
It's Lee Braxton! Game over! The grand final won for Melbourne Victory!
Unsavable, this one. Unstoppable today, Melbourne Victory.
It was cool, just didn't score many goals, and right at the minute, the last minute turned out to be just an amazing experience, not a free seat, the atmosphere was, you couldn't hear yourself on the pitch. I think it was just something that I felt really accomplished as a footballer at that point. I played almost every minute of every game, contributed with goals, with assists, and it was just a way of capping off that year.
W-League 2021 champions, Melbourne Victory!
I don't think I realized, because it was my first season, how big it really was until my partner said to me after we won, you don't realize how big this is. People have played in the A-League for 10 plus years. They've never even been to a finals series, and you've won it on your first year. And I think then it sunk in, okay, this is a big deal, and this is going to be hard to continue to chase for the rest of my time, or as ever long I get to play.
The last grand final, even we lost, but just to see what that means for the fans, because in the end I think football it's try to bring the fans to the game, try to bring the passion from the people, and watching that game, watching all the fans, and was priceless. Of course the result was not the best, but yeah, I think those moments always stay with us as players. Just having this extra help from the outside helped us, the players, to try to overcome when you are tired, or okay, I can still go 1 meter further.
Melbourne Victory was never going to settle just to be another team, just to go through the motions, or to not raise the bar of the sport. And I think that's the greatest achievement of Melbourne Victory, is we've raised the bar for football, not just in Melbourne and Victoria, but across the whole country.